So here's one example on stage 1 of the development. We're on Hat Hill Road here, and this is Woodside, where Woodside Avenue is going to come through. The drainage here will go into this drain here. It'll come straight across the road over to this point, and then from here it flows out of this culvert and straight onto this person's property, and then floods straight across their property. So this guy's going to end up wearing a majority of the stage 1 runoff through there, and as far as I'm aware it goes right through and then flows straight into the national park on the other side. And now we'll go across to another example on the other side of stage 2, where a lot of the runoff's going to go to. Okay, this is part of stage 2. This is where Woodside Avenue is actually going to go through. This is not the main topic I'm going to be talking about today, but it's basically where the road's going to be punching through. So I'll quickly run through here so you can have a bit of a look and see what trees have got to go. But the issue I want to talk about today is actually at the end of Woodside Avenue. So anyway, let's go and have a look. Okay, so we're just quickly walking through. I'm not going to follow it exactly because it's a little bit hard to follow it with all the vegetation through here. I won't spend too much time on this, but you get the general gist of what's actually happening. I won't show you the whole lot because it's a fair way down. I'll just take you to the edge here. So we're right on the road now, and basically the road follows this bushland right down to the end, but I won't walk you through that now. I'll save that for another day. So we'll just pop down to where the spring is at the end of this road that I wanted to talk about. So let's get down there now. Right, now we're coming out to the end of Woodside Avenue, so we've just walked down through that. That's where the road will go. And down here you'll see it's a little bit damp, and the reason for that is there's actually a spring coming out through here. Now this spring is coming out from under the airstrip, of course, and the road will be laying straight down over the top of it. Now if that isn't actually bad enough, that they're actually building on top of a spring, because I'm not actually sure what that's actually going to do, but obviously it's going to involve some excavation. There are frogs living in through here. It's quite a damp area, but the main issue here is that this spring actually goes across the road. Now across the road, it's a bit hard to see from here, but it actually feeds a hanging swamp down through there. There's a hanging swamp just on the other side of that. Yeah, so here we are at the hanging swamp that the spring feeds directly into via the culvert up on the road there. So all that spring feeds into here. It follows that creek, or that gully, down into Hat Hill Creek down the bottom there, which is National Park, I believe, and is part of the World Heritage Area, and follows that through to the Gross Valley. Going by what is actually on the council website for the Hat Hill Road development, or the Blackheath Airstrip development, it basically says that the landowners will be responsible for weeds, not the council. That's one issue. They said that, or the environmental report said there'd be nil impact to the environment. Well, that spring, which the road will be going on top of, runs straight into this hanging swamp. And thirdly, it says in the proposal that drainage and runoff will flow into existing watercourses and the existing drainage system. Well, there actually isn't a system, it just runs into the watercourses. They don't even have sediment traps on any of the existing culverts that come across the road. They basically flow straight into the creeks or down the side of the road, which you'll see on the other side of the sewage treatment plant a little later on. I'd just like to read a couple of extracts from the council website themselves. So it's a little bit blowy here today. This is from the council website. The swamps provided essential habitat to several threatened species such as blue mountain water skink and the giant dragonfly. There are less than 3,000 hectares of blue mountain swamp in existence, as they predominantly comprise of small areas that are susceptible to edge effects. As the urban footprint expands to the edges of the plateau, the swamps are coming under increasing pressure. Now, just remind you, this is on the council website. Okay, the predominant threats to blue mountain swamps are sediment deposits, tunnelling and channelization from stormwater discharges, nutrient enrichment, weed invasion, clearing of urban development and mowing. All of this is about to take place on the Blackheath Airstrip development site, which the council have proposed. Righto, so what we've got here is where the spring comes out underneath Godson Avenue. That's Godson Avenue up there. The spring's on the other side of the road, comes underneath Godson, down under the road here, follows this water course down into the hanging swamp. Now, the council have said that they are going to use, the flow of runoff will go into the existing water courses and the existing drainage system. Well, there is no existing drainage system. It just goes straight into the bush. That's it. And that's pretty much how all of the drainage is in this area. Across the road on Hat Hill Road, here on Godson, and shortly I'll show you the existing drainage system down the other side of Godson, where it'll be coming off from Robb Avenue. So let's pop down there and have a look. Sorry, I forgot to mention, before we head down to the other site, one of the property owners that live right next to the hanging swamp here on this side of the road, they actually get a lot of the runoff, or in fact that spring feeds their property and they actually get a lot of water from that. So any of the runoff from this new development, they're actually going to be drinking, which is quite unfortunate. Now, they actually went to put an extension in to their house. It was going to be a small kitchen. To actually do that, they were going to have to spend a lot of money on filtration systems and drainage and culverts and whatnot before the water could actually even enter into there. It was going to cost a huge amount of money. They were going to have to get a hydrologist report done. And in the end, they just gave up. They were told Blue Mountain City Council discouraged building next to swamps or even next to bushland. And here we have a council that is going ahead and doing exactly that. They're building a road, they're putting a road directly onto or over the top of a spring that feeds a hanging swamp that these guys, the owners of the property were told there were Blue Mountains water skinks and other threatened species living in the swamp, so they couldn't build a kitchen. Yet you can build a large development on top of that spring that feeds that swamp. Yeah, just another example of where the Blue Mountain City Council tells us to do one thing and are very strict on us, yet when it comes to themselves, they do as they please. Anyway, let's head down to the other side. Right, here we go. It comes out to here. So this is where all the runoff from the southwestern side of the airstrip development is going to come through. It's going to come through this drain here. You can see there's no sediment traps, as there's no sediment traps at any of the other existing stormwater system. It just comes down through this drain here. It just follows this channel all the way down to the end. Righto, it just comes down through here, goes down this concrete water course, down through the gate over there. So here it is here. There's a fair bit of stormwater here. It's actually starting to wash away the road. Just again, it just follows the side of the road down. There's no system here at all. It's just the edge of the road. Then just down here, and follows it down through into the bush. As you can see, there is no sediment traps. It just goes straight into the bush, and it's causing erosion down through there and goes down into Hat Hill Creek. So as you can see, this is just one of the many issues that we're dealing with, this poorly ill-conceived development. They wouldn't let us get away with it. If we were doing a development on a small scale, they would not let us get away with what they're doing. There's no way I had to put a sediment trap in for my shed. They haven't even got one here for a major road. I don't understand what's actually happening with this council. They say one thing and make us do one thing, but they do another. They have a totally disregard for the environment. They have on the outer they look like they're environmentally friendly. You know, they put stormwater catchment in up at Echo Point, you know, trying to make out that they're environmentally friendly, where it's very obvious in the public eye. But in places like this where it's not obvious, they don't care. They just ignore it. Here they are, there's nothing here now, and they're going to put a massive big development, put even more pressure on this system that is not really a system at all. How can they get away with that? They won't let us get away with it. We shouldn't let them get away with it. They've got to be stopped. They need to reverse this decision. It's morally wrong, everything they're doing with this development. They really haven't thought it through. They need to stop it now, stop the development now, go back, draw up that master plan. If they're going to go ahead with this development, they need to spend some money on some proper drainage. They can't go and put all that pressure on these systems, the hanging swamp up over there, the guy's property over the road. Like, it's just not fair. It's not fair on the public, and it's not fair on the environment. So if you want to help out, the very first thing you should do is go and sign our online petition. That'd be great. Spread it around, email the link to all your friends, ask them to sign it. It'll be a great help if we can get that site turned into a reserve. Also, you can join our Facebook page, our Facebook supporters group, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can go and subscribe to our Twitter as well. Anyway, keep watching, stay tuned, and there'll be more videos coming soon. Catch you later.